Thieves can steal expensive materials, vandalize your property, and even pose a physical threat to workers. Without proper security, you're leaving everything wide open for an attack. So in this video, I'm going to talk about some of the, considering using layers of security during the building process and after. Right. So during the building process, one thing that you can think about is securing the perimeter. You can use fencing, you can use warning signs. And when I say fencing, it doesn't necessarily have to be a fence wall pre-constructed, right? Because some of us change our mind while we're building. So constructing the fence wall ahead of the house essentially makes, it might force you to have to build to match the wall instead of the opposite. So what I probably will recommend is for you to start your construction with your perimeter secured by putting, corner posts, right? And then probably thinking about either using some temporary kind of fence wall, right? But when you have signs there, clear signs that show that this land is not for sale, you can even add a contact person's phone number. I've seen some people use like a military person, and I think it's kind of like a deterrent, right? So that's one. You can use fencing and warning signs. You can also use, human surveillance and guards. But for me, using external guards could be expensive. So if you have someone that you trust who is willing to live on the premise, you could probably build like temporary, shack for them, make it very comfortable so that they will stay. And if there's human presence, it deters people. If you have the funds and you want to, hire, external security, so be it. You can do that. Another thing that you can do, especially based on the video that I just did from my ass litter, is using dogs. A lot of people sleep on this, but you can use if you're building, and you have existing dogs already, you could use them as your night watchman, right? As long as the place is secure, they could go, be on the perimeter during the night, and then during the daytime, you bring them back to, their home, right? Dogs are very vigilant. They're territorial, and they pose a threat, to people, especially if you have a menacing dog like, a Cane Corso, Rottweiler, Boerboel, some of those just their sheer size and the looks they have alone, a Mastiff, it's bulldog. It's a deterrent to people, right? And I say deterrent because most of the people who are going to go steal from your building site, especially when you just starting the building, and the things they can steal are like, bags of cement, electrical wires and stuff like that, and tools. Really, you want to put, and those thieves, right, are not like, they're not the boldest, right? They're just opportunists. So you can use dogs to do that, to deter them, right? Now, at this your house takes shape, criminals may try to break in, right? So you don't want to wait until it's too late. You want to think about all the security, throughout this process, all the way, to the end when you live there, right? So, I always say to protect your house, you need, layers of security. And, the fact that you have layers of security does not mean that you do not protect, yourself, right? And when I say yourself, I'm talking about access to the shell and core of your house. So you need to install reinforced doors, shutterproof windows, tempered glass, really, really solid thick tempered glass, right? Make sure, your stuff is not just for looks, right? Make sure that you're putting in, very good material, in your windows and your doors, right? To make it difficult for people to break into it if they are able to, to get past all the prior layers of security. Hopefully it doesn't, but that doesn't mean that because you have layers, you leave your front door ajar, right? You cannot do that. Another thing that you can consider doing, which I would advise you do, is to have security wiring already integrated into your building plan, right? So basically, if you plan ahead, you pre-wire your house for alarm, camera during construction, it gives you that extra advanced security system, when you're done and you're ready to move in, right? Also, another thing that you can consider is having motion lights, right? Motion activated lights. So imagine a case where you're building and the place is still, even before foundation, right? As long as the place is fenced in, or even if it's not fenced in, you can consider mounting a very, very tall post, right? Probably, very, fortified with maybe concrete, and make the camera, be high off the ground so no one can, vandalize it. You can put a camera that is mounted up high that looks, over your property, and is, is able to detect motion. And some of these are both a camera and a floodlight. If you can have a 2-in-1, go for it. If not, just get the motion lights in vantage places and get a good camera that spans your property, right? And put them there. That those, even their visual presence alone, is a deterrent. And normally thieves, they scope their surroundings, before they attack at night, right? When it's dark. So if they realize that, oh, you have a camera on your property, they probably won't come. They'll go to the next person who doesn't have that protection, right? Like I said earlier, most of these thieves are petty thieves. They're just opportunists, and they go towards the path of least resistance. So if you have things that deter them, then as they're doing their, their assessment during the day, they see yours, and it's a place that they probably won't go to unless there's nowhere else to go. Anyway, so at this point, let's consider that your construction is over, right? And it makes it even more inviting to people because now you've finished building the house, you've put more things in there, and the ability to score gets higher, right, for the criminal. So just because the construction is over doesn't mean you're home safe, just because you have people living there. Human presence is good, but there are times you probably will not have anyone on premise, right? Many homes are targeted once, the place is completed. And they realize that, one, you don't have security, or you basically got, like I said, you got, comfortable, right? So, at this point that you are living there, I feel like that is when security is the most important, because you're not only protecting, materials, and tools anymore, you're protecting lives, right? And that is when we have to be like super, super heightened, with protection. And with this, basically what that means is that if you think about it ahead of time, that this is where you're going to live, you're going to have your loved ones living there, their protection should be, like something it's like forethought, right, in the building process. So you should consider having some way of monitoring your house, 24/7. There are so many technology advancements these days that make it so easy for you to deal with, intruders, right, or visitors. Because, imagine being away from home and having a security camera that is, has a two-way talk feature. So you can actually talk to people when they come. And the fact that you can say something to someone might startle them, and they'll realize maybe you are at the house, even if you're not there, right? So with a security system, a smart home security system that will give you, real-time alerts, you can keep an eye on your property from anywhere, and the person who is coming to intrude doesn't know that you're not there, right? Another layer that you can try to use is having, outdoor surveillance cameras around the perimeter. And as much as possible, especially when you're building in Ghana, you should think about having solar powered security cameras because of, the fact that we have them. So, my advice to anyone building today is to consider building, a house that could be off grid, right? Because if you prioritize off grid plans and you save for that and you can, install them, then you don't have to worry about, power outages. But for now, you can think about considering solar powered cameras that will continue surveillance even when you have power outages, right? That's always a good thing to think about. And there are so many companies that are making these, solar powered security cameras. Even some of them don't even use, Wi-Fi, right? You can have cellular ones that, as long as there's cellular service. And this is important. If you live in a place where cellular service is good, you could consider having a cellular solar powered, surveillance camera for this part. Another, like this part is, I feel like, a lot of people sleep on this. Yes, we all do love having dogs as pets, but especially in Ghana, what you want is, to not only have a pet dog, but also be able to use them as guards, right? Your dogs can be both indoor, outdoor, if you train them well, right? A Cane Corso, the German Shepherd, a Rottweiler. There are so many dogs, and I'm not picking one breed over the other, because you can have, a poodle like Murphy, my cousin's dog Murphy, that is so little but super super feisty, right? So if you train your dog well, the size is something that you don't have to worry about. Like a well-trained dog doesn't need to be big, but if you have a menacing dog, right, you have a dog that just the looks alone scares people away, that is good, right? And also if you have a dog that has a loud bark, right? Because like I said earlier, most people scope the area during the day, right? So if they hear that you have a dog that has a very, very loud bark, guess what? They won't dare come there because they probably know that at night you're going to leave the dog to be in the compound, right? And when you have more than one, that's even more, menacing, because now you have this, chorus of barks that people hear, because one dog barks, the other one will take over. And then when they realize, man, there's some loud barks, right? It scares people away. I've seen, cases where people use record dog barks. They don't have a dog on property, but from time to time, they'll just play the recording so people think that they have a dog, right? But anyway, it's besides the point. Now, so we've talked about, protecting your property during the construction process and beyond, right? One thing that can be done before actually this one can be done all through, is to involve your community, right? My late dad used to say that if you're a good neighbor, you have watchmen all around you, right? So if you are a good person in the community, everyone will look out for you, right? And I hope that you do that for everyone else. So in saying that, you just remember that no home is an island, right? I don't care how tall your fence wall is. At the end of the day, you are in a community. So to truly protect your property, your entire neighborhood needs to be secure, right? Because if the neighborhood is secure, if the neighbor two doors down from you has security, in mind, then they wouldn't come to you, right? But also think about it this way: just because your community is secure doesn't mean you need to sleep, right? Because imagine if every single house had a dog, right? And yours didn't. That makes you the weakest link in the community. You don't want that to be your home, right? As much as you have the community involved, you still need to play your part in the community, in securing your property first, right? Government at home beats government elsewhere, right? So as long as you're protecting yours and everyone else around you is protecting theirs, then the community becomes solid, right? Don't sleep on yours just because your neighborhood has good sporadic homes that have security cameras, right? Yes, some neighbors' camera might catch you, but it won't catch all your spots, right? You need to focus on yours. Anyway, so let's talk about what could probably be done in a community. Um, eh, you know, um, Having a good community makes it easy to have neighborhood watch, right? And you guys, like you see communities where they'll put a sign up saying, "Hey, neighborhood watch is in effect," which means everyone is looking out for everyone else. If you have good neighbors that care for that, that could be something that comes in. Unfortunately, some of us have neighbors that are trying to steal from us, so it's like, can I even trust you to be a watch? But anyway, it's just a general tip, right? If you can do that. Also, some neighborhoods can afford to do this. Hire private security patrols. And that happens mainly in the gated communities, right? The gated communities in Ghana, they hire private security patrols to monitor the area. But even that doesn't make you super secure. Once again, just because there is private security in your gated community doesn't mean you need to sleep on yours, right? Always have your place secure and have that community involvement be extra, right? Yeah. So I'll say, just remember that criminals are always watching from every step of your building process. They're watching and they're keeping an eye on, whether you are, security confident or security conscious or whatever. Yeah, there's a reason why I put security, I put regular bars in the security post, right? Because it's what is closer to the road and what people see, right? It gives this false illusion that the whole place is regular bar secured. Anyway, that's besides the point. Yeah. So, like I said earlier, criminals are watching every step of the way. They're waiting for you or I to let our guard down. Don't wait until it's too late to secure home, right? If you think about it during the construction, and you plan it well, then it'll be key on your mind, because I don't think during construction, what you protect during construction is more important than what you protect when you're moving, right? So always consider multiple layers. And the thing is this, even I cannot disclose every single layer of security that I'm going to use. Reason is this, not every single person watching these videos is building like you and I are. Some are criminals watching to see loopholes. Believe that, right? So have some surprising effect. You don't have to, disclose every single thing, but a mixture of some of the layers that I've put out, and I didn't say them all. If I missed some and you think you can contribute in the comment section, please do so. I appreciate you watching this video. Let's secure our property. We're working hard to put these buildings up. Let's secure our property, right? Please like, share, and subscribe for more, building, tips, and also me sharing my experience. Hopefully, we do the best we can to minimize, security breaches, as we build our homes, right? Please, let's do the research to secure our homes. Theft will happen, but hopefully it's minimal, right? Thank you for watching again. Have a good day. Bye-bye.